Another big thing I did early on in this period was my first me day. I've done an episode on this and I'll link to it. This is where I just take a day to myself. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's a full day. The first one we did was a full day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We were just under 10 years married at the time. We had 3 kids who were then 7 years old and under. My oldest was about to turn 8. And I had never once in all my years of motherhood taken even an afternoon for myself, nonetheless, a whole day. It was a huge thing for me to ask Brad to watch the kids for a full Saturday so I could gallivant around San Francisco, where I visited my first museum in 8 years and I window shopped before reading on my public transit home. I have a picture from that museum trip of me awkwardly standing in front of a piece of bright, modern art, something that was out of the norm for me to do because I do not enjoy being in front of the camera. And I also had to ask a stranger to take the picture for me. But this is a picture that I can bring to mind in an instant, not because I looked cute, because I didn't. I had a pretty prominent zit on my face. That's all I can see when I see the actual picture. But I can bring up this picture in my mind because of what that moment meant to me, to my very soul. It wasn't about the art. It was about reconnecting with the long lost part of me that loved art and loved museums. So much so that I interned at the Smithsonian before getting married and seriously considered going into museum studies before I instead became a teacher. It also wasn't about the time away from the kids, although it was that. It was about the time I then had to think, to breathe, to be myself. That day barely involved any money, just the train ride to and from the city, but it was a huge investment in myself.